Former Fox News host and major MAGA podcaster Megyn Kelly went viral yesterday for an unhinged clip that's circulating as part of a broader conversation she had with conservative Breaking Point's co-host Emily Jashinsky, in which Megyn Kelly effectively says, look, it would be really bad if Trump starts a nuclear war, but even if he does, I'll still vote Republican because Democrats want to nuke the country. And then a few hours later, Trump actually issues a threat with nuclear implications, a genocidal threat, threatening to destroy Iranian civilization. Quote, a whole civilization is going to die tonight by 8 p.m. Eastern if they don't capitulate to his demands. So it is truly ironic timing to put Megyn Kelly's convictions to the test. Are there signs, though, that between the clip going viral, Trump's threats, and this moment, that Megyn Kelly may indeed be turning on Trump even more than what she has? The signs are there. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, folks, I want to set this up. Again, it's truly stunning, the timing of this, okay? So let's play the clip. This is, again, Megyn Kelly talking to Emily Jashinsky, who works for Megyn Kelly, but is also a Breaking Point's co-host.
Honestly, Trump could drop a nuke and I'd still vote Republican over those people because they want to.
Avenue voter.
In some ways, I really am. But honestly, what they want to do is nuke our own country. You know, it's like the open border, what they're doing to children, all that stuff is still they would do it all if put back in power. And I think most Republicans know that.
So again, Megyn Kelly's in a bit of an identity crisis. She has become increasingly critical of Trump's Iran war. She has criticized Donald Trump in the past, so she's not one of those like Benny Johnson-style MAGA podcasters who will never criticize Trump. She's even directly criticized him pretty harshly before, right? He and Megyn Kelly and Trump have an on-again, off-again, hot-cold relationship. So she's interesting in this respect. And yet, as she's gotten critical of the Trump-Iran war, recognizing it as a betrayal of his campaign pledges, she has been more critical, more directly critical, more harshly critical of Trump's advisors in and out of office, especially ones out of office, like Mark Levin, deranged MAGA MAGA Fox News host, Ben Shapiro, right? And I love the MAGA Civil War, as you well know. I love to see MAGA on MAGA rhetorical conflict because it's a disunified MAGA movement is good for the country, or at least better for the country than a unified MAGA movement. But Ben Shapiro has one point, and I brought this up again and again and again, which is if you criticize Trump's Iran war, as I do, as liberals and progressives do, as Democrats do, as leftists do, then you should recognize that it is ultimately Donald Trump's fault because he is the president of the United States. He is the commander-in-chief. He is the one who authorized this war. So you can get mad at Ben Shapiro, you can get mad at Mark Levin, you can get mad at Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government. They're all culpable to some extent based on their support and their advice to Trump. But at the end of the day, the person who is most responsible, most culpable, is objectively Trump. And so if you'll bitch and moan about everybody not named Trump, you are a coward. And so Ben Shapiro's right to call that out. You should have the most smoke, the most heat, the most condemnation for Trump if you hate his war. Megyn Kelly, that's the one criticism that Ben Shapiro really has of Megyn Kelly, where he landed a decisive blow. She struggles with that. Well, of course Trump's responsible, but again, she says Mark Levin has a micro penis. She says all sorts of things about Ben Shapiro. He against her. Like, she's very careful, unusually careful with her rhetoric than the Megyn Kelly who famously went toe-to-toe with Trump before. So it's fascinating to watch this. Now, having established that, Trump then issues his insane threat. It's going to be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all in one. We're going to bomb the hell out of them. Open the fucking Strait of Hormuz, you crazy bastards. Praise Allah. Happy Easter, right? Remember that? And then his follow-up message to ABC's Rachel Scott, like, we're going to blow up the whole country. If we don't get an answer by 8 p.m. Tuesday, we're going to blow up the whole country. And then, of course, today, after that conversation with Emily Jashinsky, and by the way, sidebar, Emily Jashinsky, obviously a very smart person. My beef with Emily, and I do make fun of her a lot on, I shouldn't say a lot. I've done it a couple of times on social media, is she's a very smart, well-read conservative who is put in the awkward position of her side of the aisle and her nominal proximate party being represented by Trump. So again, it's like an auto loss on the debate. Trump is morally, intellectually, ethically inferior. He's violating all the principles you claim to care about, free speech, whatever. So like, and she's often reduced to kind of nervously giggling, kind of like how she did here with Megyn Kelly. When Megyn Kelly says, yeah, I'm basically the sort of a voter that Trump talked about. I can shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single vote. Megyn Kelly is like, yeah, I'm actually kind of one of those people. Again, it's really interesting to see this in real time, right? This Megyn Kelly, this line that she's trying to walk in real time. All Emily can do is just nervously laugh about that. Props to Sagar and Jetty, the other conservative breaking news co-host, the kind of front runner, because at least he'll acknowledge, okay, I was wrong about Trump. Trump is worse. Trump is more corrupt. He is more authoritarian. He is more dishonest. He is worse than the Democrats. I was wrong. I got him wrong. Emily could stand to use that. She was just objectively wrong about Trump, and Trump is objectively worse than any Democrat, and any insinuations to the contrary is also wrong. I wish she would find her integrity there. But back to Megyn Kelly. The tightrope is kind of strange here because it's like, what are you going to do? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Makes me think that maybe we're about to see a Tucker Carlson style break by Megyn Kelly from Donald Trump. Remember, Tucker Carlson, we just did a video about this earlier today, went on a 40-minute monologue on his show condemning Trump, calling Trump's Easter tweet genocidal threats evil, suggesting that Trump might be the Antichrist. And Tucker and Megyn have, mutual respect for one another. Here's why I think we might start to see that. I saw on my social media feed Yashar Ali responding to Congressman Randy Fine. I thought to myself, okay, Randy Fine is a truly despicable person. Really. I mean, one of the worst, most nasty, vicious Republican congresspeople. And that's saying something when you consider his competition. He had a disastrous interview with Piers Morgan a couple of months ago. You should check it out. It's insane. Piers Morgan read him the Riot Act. And Piers Morgan, as you know, is very gracious towards Republicans as a general heuristic, and a guy who, again, for the longest time was very credulous about Israel's war against Gaza. He hates Muslims, Randy Fine. Hates them, compares them as lesser than dogs. I mean, the shit that he says is insane. But he says, happy power plant and Bridge Eve last night, referencing Trump's insane, unhinged Easter tweet, right? Again, psychotic. Yashar Ali responds with, this man is a demented psychopath, which is true. And I saw that Megyn Kelly reposted it. Right here, you see it. I'm highlighting it right now. And I thought to myself, Megyn, okay, yes, Randy Fine is terrible. But if you're upset at Randy Fine for saying happy power plant and Bridge Eve, what about the guy who announced the happy power plant and bridge holiday in the first place, Donald Trump? Is he not objectively more demented? If Randy Fine is celebrating what Donald Trump is threatening to do, then by definition, Donald Trump must be even more of a demented psychopath. So I got curious. I was curious. And I went to her feed, and this is what I saw. And this is, again, squint at it. You might think I'm crazy, but I think there are signs that this might be brewing. And by the way, she is not, I just checked, and I'll check right now in real time. Megyn Kelly, strangely, has not had a new episode of the Megyn Kelly show yet. Maybe this was just like a pre-planned day off or whatever, but I haven't seen it. She's usually posts every day. Today is suspiciously absent. So we don't have a lot of public signs since Donald Trump issued his genocidal threat. But here's where it gets interesting. Then after I saw her post about Randy Fine, I went looking at her feed. So then I see this, Glenn Greenwald, in response to Trump, saying a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. Glenn Greenwald says this is one of the sickest, most demented, most morally reprehensible, most disgusting things any American president has ever said. But it's vital to remember that among his most influential war advisors are the fanatical Israel First loyalists Laura Loomer and Mark Levin. Megyn Kelly reposted this as well. So is this not a sign that Megyn Kelly is acknowledging that what Donald Trump said was one of the sickest, most demented, most morally reprehensible, and most disgusting things that any American president has ever said? Is she acknowledging that about Donald Trump, this threat of genocide? Or is she more interested in co-signing the fact that Laura Loomer and Mark Levin, two terrible people, are in Trump's inner circle, or is it both? That's where this gets interesting. I think that this might be a sign that we might be on the verge of seeing a Tucker-esque break from Donald Trump. And yet this comes a day after, or 12 hours after, she said, Trump could drop a nuke and I would still vote for the Republicans because Democrats are going to nuke this country. What the hell does that even mean? Open border, she says, what they're doing to children because of the 0.003% of, trans surgeries which occur in this country. Trump could drop a nuke. And then Trump threatens effectively to do just that. Remember, we did a video about this. J.D. Vance hinting that Trump might actually drop a nuke on Iran, that there are conventional military tools that have not been used. So it's, again, the timing is ironic. She says that. I guess in this respect, I'm kind of a Fifth Avenue style voter. Trump then suggests, actually, yeah, I might drop a nuke. I'm going to commit genocide against Iran. And now she's reposting Glenn Greenwald, acknowledging that what Trump is threatening to do is among the sickest, most demented, most morally reprehensible, most disgusting things any American president has ever said. And again, she has not, at this point, posted her own video yet. She is suspiciously silent on YouTube. Her show has not gone live yet. And she went viral for this. But I think the signs are there. So let's see some of the reaction to this. Get this dumb shit off my timeline. Megyn Kelly is a full-fledged Nazi. So the proper response from the rest of us is to leave these dead enders behind. Megyn Kelly says you covered up for the Epstein files with your, quote, barely legal bullshit. You don't mind your God Trump dropping a nuclear bomb. You are the epitome of a Christian American, depraved filth, utterly lacking in morals. I don't know what the hell that means. I think it's unfair to tar and feather every Christian that way. Trump is not very Christ-like. He's the opposite. But again, this thing is going viral. These disgusting people have any idea what dropping a nuclear weapon and ending humanity will likely mean? There's not an election, especially one featuring the party that just ended the world. That's what somebody says. And again, going viral here. Keith Edwards, progressive commentator on YouTube and Twitter, says death cult. This is the definition of cult behavior, says another. Evan Loves Worf says, how do you communicate with people who see zero value in human life? Tom Nichols says this is a galactic level thirstiness. Jonah Goldberg says, it's the most independent-mindedness of the independent media I admire most, being, of course, sarcastic. Tim Hainan says Megyn Kelly is an evil fuck. Interesting. So again, it's going viral. I'm telling you, folks, we might be on the verge of seeing yet another removal in the Jenga tower that is MAGA. And that's what we should be hoping for. We should hope for more MAGA civil war amongst themselves. Or she could do as she's done so far, which is criticize Trump, poo-poo Trump, vaguely gesture that what he's doing is wrong, but still hesitate to break from him entirely because, as she says, she hates the Democrats that much. I don't know, but I do think the signs are there given how critical she's been. But you let me know what you think in the comments.